Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling confused, guilty, or just plain off? You can't quite put your finger on it, but something feels wrong. That feeling? It's a red flag. It's your internal alarm system screaming that you might have just been manipulated. Manipulation isn't always a grand, dramatic scheme like you see in the movies. It's often subtle. It's quiet. It's the invisible strings that someone else tries to attach to you to control your emotions, your decisions, and your actions. Recognizing these strings is the very first step to cutting them and taking your power back. It starts with paying attention not just to what people say, but to how they make you feel. That feeling is your truth. Let's get really simple here. What is manipulation? It's when someone tries to influence you in an unfair and often dishonest way to get what they want. It's not a direct request. It's not a healthy debate. It's a game where the other person has hidden the rules from you. They twist your words. They play on your insecurities. They make their problems your responsibility. One of the classics is love bombing. This is when someone overwhelms you with affection, compliments, and attention right at the beginning of a relationship, whether it's romantic, friendly, or professional. It feels amazing. You feel like you found your soulmate or your biggest supporter? But it's a trap. Another favorite tool is the strategic use of flattery. This goes beyond a simple compliment. For example, a coworker might say, "You are so much better at creating these presentations than I am. Your style is just incredible. Would you mind just finishing this one up for me?" They aren't just complimenting you, they are buttering you up to take on their work. They are playing on your ego and your desire to be seen as competent. Then there's the tactic of moving the goalposts. You think you've finally done what they wanted. You've met their expectations. You've jumped through the hoop. But then suddenly, it's not enough. They change their expectations or add a new condition. No matter what you do, you can never quite win their approval. This is a deliberate tactic to keep you constantly striving, perpetually off balance. Finally, watch out for passive aggression. This is manipulation disguised as politeness or helplessness. It's the friend who is fine, but gives you the silent treatment for hours. It's the family member who makes a sarcastic joke that is actually a thinly veiled criticism. This forces you to be the one to ask what's wrong, putting you in the position of trying to fix a problem they won't even admit exists. The single most powerful word you can use to outsmart a manipulator is no. It's a complete sentence. It requires no justification, no explanation, and no apology. For so many of us, especially people pleasers, saying no feels impossible. It feels selfish, rude, or confrontational. We've been conditioned to be agreeable, to help out, to not rock the boat. But here's the truth. Your no is the guardian of your time, your energy, and your mental health. Let's practice this. A manipulator uses a guilt trip. "I can't believe you won't help me move this weekend, after I helped you with your resume last year." Your new response is simple and firm. "I understand you're in a tough spot, but I won't be able to help this weekend." That's it. Your no is not the start of a negotiation. It is the end of the conversation on that topic. Think of it like a toddler throwing a tantrum in a store. You don't give in to the screaming because that teaches them that screaming works. Start small. Practice saying no in low-stakes situations. Each time you say no and the world doesn't end, you build confidence. You are strengthening a muscle. Saying no is your first line of defense, but setting boundaries is how you build a fortress to protect your well-being long-term. A boundary is not a wall to keep people out. It's a line that shows people where your property begins and ends. It's a rule you set for yourself about what you will and will not accept from others. It's about respect. The first step is to identify what your boundaries even are. Think about what makes you feel angry, resentful, or drained. Maybe you have a boundary around your personal time, and you hate it when a friend calls you late at night to complain for an hour. Write them down. Be specific. "I will not take work calls after 7 p.m. Clarity is your friend. Once you know your boundary, you must communicate it. Calmly, clearly, and simply. This is not a moment for anger or accusation. Instead of saying, "You always call me so late and it's so annoying," try, "I am making an effort to disconnect from my phone after 9 p.m. to rest, so I won't be available for calls then." A reasonable person will respect this. A manipulator will test it. A boundary without a consequence is just a suggestion. If you tell someone you won't be available for calls after 9 p.m., and they call you at 9:30, you must not answer the phone. Every time you hold the line, you strengthen your fortress and increase their respect for your rules. You are showing them through your actions that you mean what you say. At the end of the day, The most powerful tool you have to outsmart a manipulator is something you were born with: your intuition, your gut feeling, that internal compass that tells you when something is right and when something is terribly wrong. For too long, you may have been taught to ignore it. You've been told you're being too sensitive or that you're overthinking things, often by the very people who were manipulating you. Your gut doesn't use complicated logic. It just knows. It's that knot in your stomach when you're about to agree to something you don't want to do. It's that sense of dread you feel when a certain person's name pops up on your phone. These are not random feelings. They are data. Your subconscious mind is picking up on thousands of tiny cues and delivering a clear verdict: danger or safe. Building this trust is a practice. Take a moment before you respond to a request. Pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, how does this feel in my body? Does it feel expansive and light, or does it feel tight, heavy, and constricting? That physical sensation is your intuition speaking to you in its most basic language. You are re-establishing a connection with the wisest part of yourself, the part that has always been looking out for your best interests. You are not powerless. You are not a puppet. You are the one in control of your life, and it's time to take the strings back. Spotting manipulation, understanding the tactics, saying no, and setting boundaries are all secrets to outsmarting those who would try to control you. But it all comes back to trusting yourself. Believe in your right to be treated with respect. You are the ultimate authority on your own life. When you stand firmly in that truth, manipulators lose all their power. You become unshakable because you are guided by your own inner compass toward a life of confidence, freedom, and genuine control.